Here we go. Oh, I'm streaming. How did that happen? How did I start streaming today? I don't even know how that happened. Did something present to make me do that again? Did something occur that made me feel like doing that again? Did a disruption present? Did good occur? Did bad happen? Is that why I'm doing this today? Because if I was, wouldn't this be a never-ending cycle that something else is dictating and determining for me? If I present A, I will either make you do B or suffer C. Over and over and over and over again. That is life for each and every single one of us. We all have a cycle around us. There's minor cycles and major cycles. The minor ones are the things that most of you have now falsely attributed to actual problems in your life. Things that you think are insurmountable. Things that you think are, oh my God, this is so bad. Meaning random drama related to other people around you. Any person around you is nothing. Why am I starting this way? Because this one is just for myself. No one's gonna watch this. No one's gonna listen to this. And if they do, they're gonna get a lot of knowledge. This one's for myself because when I embrace this version of myself, I laugh, I enjoy, I smile because I know I am destroying the cycle. I am fighting back against the things that are trying to keep me trapped perpetually in a loop. So when I operate this way, I feel better. But even hear what I'm saying, do you guys get it? That means that it's a loop. It's a never-ending cycle. Any human vessel around you, if there are things repeating that will always happen over and over again, I want all of you to join me today in finally saying, no more. It's not an accident. It's their fault, but also there's something greater that is ensuring that they operate that way. This is all of our realities. That's all I'm going to say about the basic minor level, because that is not today's focus. We are not going to talk about personal whatsoever, because that doesn't matter. If you are all trapped at that level still, you all need to evolve. You all need to learn. You all need to grow. You all need to climb. If you care at all about the people around you always doing things and causing the same problems, and then they start behaving better, so then you interact with them again, and then all of a sudden, a few days later, things happen again, then you are literally in kindergarten. You need to break free from that level. There's no other way to put this. If you're still at that level, then you are a child. A baby that still has to grow and learn how the world actually operates. And that is what we're talking about today. So now that 99% of people have got exited the stream, now we can begin. Because you have to put the real knowledge behind the roadblocks that prevent the commoners from getting it. Because we're not doing this to heal. We're not doing this to help. We're doing this to break my own cycle. that they were creating for me over and over again. Yet, what I want myself and everyone else to realize is that if I would have kept going down that path, the way I started, the cycle would have repeated. The loop would never have broken. Because, do you guys get it that they create these bad situations to happen? They suggest some positive solutions to them, so then we try them. In my case, it could be, I want reality to finally change. How can reality change? My reality, and my own personal thing, which is what I'm going to get to, how this actually is solved, the cycle is broken. My own bubble is different now. The cycle is already broken, but I have to maintain what I realize is that we have to keep breaking it. It never ends. Yet, if I would right now be trying to educate you all on the most basic personal level, things that you should all already know, and if you don't, then you need to figure it out. There's millions of my videos and posts that you all can look at that have all the answers. If you're still at that level, and I right now spend this entire stream trying to teach that level, then the loop and cycle continues, because then they just have to make sure that all those people never get the answer. So then, what does that cause? Maybe then we gave them the answer, they caused bad again, so then we're like, so then we try again. All right, let's try to help them again. Things are good, then bad, boom. Now, let's try again. Do you guys see? And if we don't try again, then the cycle is they start inserting guilt. They start inserting blame. They start inserting, you don't care. You're evil. You're the problem. You're all the stuff. And yet, you forget that you spent 99 billion hours repeating the cycle trying to help them. Do you all understand? That's the answer. I gave you guys all the answer how to break the minor cycle. If you can't solve it with that information, then you need to start searching for more. You need to seek. You need to start learning and exploring. It's just that simple. There's nothing else to it. There's no sugarcoating right now. You guys see? Look, watch my other streams and videos and see how I'm talking to all of you right now. To myself. It's so different. Why? Because right now I gave myself permission. Hear the words that I'm saying. I gave myself permission to no longer care that all of you get this information. There is no need anymore within me, internally, at all. Zero. If any of you heal, if any of you break free, if any of you finally aren't slaves, if any of you finally start realizing your worth, if any of you finally start disrupting all the things that they've pre-installed into you throughout your entire life so that you don't operate that way, so that you finally break free. So that if enough of us do so, there is nothing they can do, because then we are in control of the story. We have the pen. Do you guys get it? So, they created a perpetual loop there, a cycle that never ends, because I just give all the answers, and I watch people take 2 steps and they fall, and you're like, okay, they're like a baby. We'll help them up. Here. And you're like, all right, hey, why do you think you fell on that step right there? They're like, oh, I don't know, I didn't even know it was a step. Okay, well, what's the step? Let's explain. You guys see, like, then now you're going to talk about what's the step. Now you're going to talk about, oh, well, how didn't you know what a step is? Let's explore that. Do you guys see that every single, and then all of a sudden now they're exploring those 2 paths and they fall again. And you're like, all right, why did you fall this time? It's like, well, I never learned how to question before. I'm like, well, let's explore that. How do you question? Do you guys get it? Is that if you allow them to create the problems, if you allow them to create the problems that you respond to from the people around you who refuse to break their cycles, it means that you get stuck and teleported into their cycle. Because what they're going to do is they're going to make those individuals never be able to break free. I'm telling you guys that no matter what happens, those people are created to make you continue your cycle. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Pay attention here. There's people around each and every one of you today that were created. Their sole purpose in this world today was to be the individual that keeps the cycle going. Every single time you're breaking free and you're moving forward, you try to help them, and then they can't figure something out, so they fall. So your instinct is immediately to try to help them. That's every single one of us around us. We each have people around us in the environments that we spend the most time at, that they have placed people intentionally to create a cycle for us so that we can never leave, that we can never break our loop, so that we always keep repeating our same behaviors and our same stories, and nothing ever can change because they have installed specific people that will always lose around you, no matter what you do. So, if you're a person, like most of us are, that actually cares, that feels the need to be good, that wants to help, that wants to teach, that wants to help, that wants to guide, because they know that they figured it out for themselves, but they're trying to help someone else. And that those people keep failing and keep falling. Well, guess what, guys? Now you are stuck in their cycle. And I'm saying that they haven't broken their minor cycle yet. We each have a little spiral of endlessness. For most of you guys, think of it like there's life and death, right? That's like a cycle, all right? But we each have one. And for most of you guys, it's the most basic elementary stuff. It's something that they pre-installed programs into you, variables into you, conditioning things so that you always respond the expected way when something presents. If you haven't broken that, it means that they can make you fall at any point that they want. They just have to present A or B or C, and you will always fall because you've never healed them, if you've never broken them, if you've never destroyed your cycle. So that means that those people, they place people that literally cannot get healed because they don't want to put in the effort to figure it out and break it. So what ends up happening is that they place those people in key locations, in families, in friend groups, in work. Each of you have your own version of this, but there's people around you that you're like, why can't they figure it out? 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 And they just can't comprehend it. It doesn't make sense to them. And I'm saying they're placed there intentionally to get you stuck again in their loop, in their cycle. Because then you will do the same behaviors, which is, how can I help them? How can I help them? How can I help them? Which means that if I have someone that's like that around you, it means that you will never be able to move on from that story, from that cycle. You will always stay there because every single time, let's say you finally do get everyone to break free somewhere, then they're going to install a new person with the exact same things again. So then you're like, now I have to teach them. Think about, guys, that every time you're a parent and you're raising a kid, and every single time once your kids are fully learned everything and fully grown, all of a sudden a new kid pops up. Just pops up magically. You're like, I didn't even know my girl was pregnant, but that's awesome. And that just keeps happening over and over again. Do you guys understand? Well, now you need a parent again. Now you need a guide again. Now you need to teach again. So now what does that mean? It means that now I can present the same bad things that happen all over again. And you guys, you might even know them. You might even know how to solve them better. You can repeat it. It's now repeatable because you figured it out. And hopefully, most of you still haven't. Most of you are still operating where if something succeeds or doesn't, it's literally a roll of the dice. You have no idea why why sometimes it works and why it doesn't. I'm saying if you learned all my knowledge, you now have the vision. You can see everything. You understand why something will succeed or not. There's no chance anymore. There's no percentage. There's no roll of the dice. So that means that every single new baby that shows up in your stories around you, you could literally break them free, you could heal them, you could guide them, and whatever it is. I'm saying in the mental slavery that happens in the world, but for some of you, it could be actual literal slavery in a rice farm in Asia, or picking fruits on the border of Mexico, or for some of you, your family, or for some of you, your friend group, or for some of you, work. I'm telling you, they keep just bringing in new people, new blood that have the same problems, and you will always stay there forever because you get trapped in their cycle, which means you will never be able to break your cycle. It's just that simple. That is the minor cycle. I didn't think I was going to explain it, but that's the minor cycle. That one is just elementary. If you haven't broken that one yet, then you need to. There's no other option. Because those are the people that they use to fabricate the stories and the problems. Why? Because if you're healed, if you understand, hey, if A presents I shouldn't do this, then there's no story that can be written. Because a story can only be written if it's known. Otherwise, it's just everyone is just doing their individual stories, and we're all just combining it together to create a narrative. That's so different. I think for most of you, maybe in school you did an exercise once where it's like everyone write one sentence of a story. Well, the story didn't really have cohesion, did it? Some people might have looked at the previous thing and be like, you know what, I'm going to add this based on that. That's possible. But you guys see, most of us don't operate that way. That's how life should be. We each have our own individual story and then we combine it into one cohesive unit. Yet currently, that's not how they want it. Because you guys get it, then it's not a controlled story. You don't know what's going to happen then. Anything can happen. If anything can happen, that means that I can't dictate when the victories and the failures occur. Currently, if all of you haven't broken your minor cycle, every victory and failure is predetermined to the T. It happens exactly when they decide. Because that means that they can choose at any point when the people that you're helping either show up again or not. If maybe today they're like, we're not going to let them repeat their fall that they always do. That's it. You guys get it? Now the story can happen the way they want, with the solution they want, the way they desire. Why are you all satisfied writing their stories? So that's the minor cycle. We're all trapped by one until we heal. And there's countless ones, just so you guys understand. They're everywhere. I mean, I even had them in video games. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So don't feel terrible if you haven't broken them, but you need to. It's binary. You need to spend every second of your life, once you're aware of this, break all your minor cycles, because otherwise they present A and you will always do B, no matter what. Can you do B on a day that nothing presented? Today, I'm telling you guys, they did not expect me to do this. I wasn't seasoned at all for it because of the path that I was going on. So it's hilarious. Once you decide from 0 to 100, you know what? I'm just going to do this today. The moment you do that, what you guys are going to notice is that your entire mental world starts getting spammed with direct mental insertions. Go shower. Go do something that is a low focus activity that you've already mastered, where they can start, where you are quiet, where maybe you're not talking or interacting with someone. All of a sudden your mental world starts getting populated with all these random thoughts that relate to what you're about to do. Yet I'm telling you guys, seconds before that, they weren't doing that. They were doing other things. They were maybe doing attacks or doing other negatives. And the moment you decide to do something, all of a sudden they're like, shit. They have to now season you for whatever you're going to do next. Try it out, guys. That's how you can start identifying that that's the solution. You just do something unexpected whenever. Because when you've broken your minor cycles, you don't need something to present to make you do. Hey, I'm listening to a Final Fantasy X song right now called Hurry. Now I'm going to play Final Fantasy X. That is 99% of the world today. That's how all of you operate. And if someone says, hey, when was the last time you played Final Fantasy X? You know that there's that really cool intro scene with Auron and Titus. And when they're like, ignore these ones, we charge through. And if someone has played it before, they might now feel like replaying it just because I said all of those things. So do you guys see now the cycle begins? Because now you're going to do the same things over and over again because of that. I just have to present those things to you and you do that. If you can understand that same thing happens to you guys everywhere, but I'm saying they install people around you to create that in us. They install people around us to create that in us so that we always will keep fighting. So how can you start, because all this is building up to is how can we break free from the major cycle of how the world operates? But if we can't even conceptualize the major cycle, the major problems that are actual problems in the world, how it's designed. Not if you guys still care about like money, taxes, time, the weather, all you guys understand those are minor cycles. They make you think that those are the problems that matter. And once they do, they get you stuck in that loop. And once you're in that loop, you can't leave. Do you guys get it? Because it's intentionally designed so that you always will now, every time you're about, you know what, the weather doesn't matter. And then the day you think that, what's going to happen is you are going to go on a car ride somewhere to maybe pick up someone. And the weather all of a sudden presents. And now all of a sudden you're like, the weather is a problem again. And now you're back in the loop and the cycle begins all over again. That's all they do. But what if all of a sudden the bad weather presented and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go walk outside in my pajamas and get completely wet or covered in snow. Then you break the loop. That is every single thing around us that is built up to make us think are actual problems. They're not. They're not. 99% of things around us are not problems. They're minor, small things that they just have got us perpetually trapped in a cycle that we can't break. Because they just have to present the A and the B, and then we always will do the C. And if we don't do the C, which is what we do to fight back or to try to overcome it, usually it's tied to some kind of tool, some kind of external, then instead they create the suffering feeling. So most of us then just give up. And that's just the cycle, over and over again, over and over again. I'm saying the only solution, guys, is you have to completely create all distance from it and just be like, it doesn't matter anymore at all. For me, like I told you guys, the reason when I first started, even I'm healing more again. It just happens naturally. But I'm like, I hope no one heals from this. Why do you think I'm being so aggressive? Because I want people to intentionally not listen to this. Because all of you don't deserve to heal. All of you deserve to be slaves forever. Because that is what you're telling me. That's what you're showing me. You all refuse to break your minor cycles. Why would you guys care about being healed and being free if you can't even break free from small little things that present around you? That's each and every one of you. Those are the minor cycles. And just so you guys know, it doesn't matter the severity. I told you, I had them in video games. Do you guys get it? It doesn't even matter how minor or severe or impactful they are. They get installed in every single area of our life. But the main culprits, the checkpoint, the gatekeeper boss that prevents you from moving forward in the story is always certain people around you. That's how they do it. They install someone around you, and for 99.9% of you, it's at work. So you need to search for those people at work. They install someone there, and they are your gatekeeper boss that is there to prevent you because they keep you stuck in a cycle forever. I'm telling you guys, the way you can test it is if you would just go to a new job or try something new and you're away from all the old people, you're going to realize that all of a sudden you feel free because there's no cycle present that they created. For most of you guys, you can test it out with family. If you stop interacting with your family or talking to your family and you go somewhere else, let's say you move to a new country or a new city or a new state and you're by yourself or just away from all the other people that you realize because they created a cycle. And that's what, just so you guys know, they create a cycle for every single thing around us. All of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel like I can do anything. I'm not going to do everything, but I feel like I could. Why is it that when I was with them, I couldn't? And it's because they used those people to install a cycle in us that makes sure to prevent us from doing the things that we could just want to do. It's just that simple. And I'm not saying that they're doing it intentionally to harm you, but these people haven't broken free their cycle, so they always respond the same way to things. So you guys see, what ends up happening is the cycles intersect, think of it like a Venn diagram. And when they have the intersection moment where they both bump into each other, that's exactly when all the cycles repeat, because then there's like a collision and everything just the events happen, and now everything has to repeat and reset. So nothing can ever progress and move forward. And that's intentional, by the way, because if I can make you aim for something or want something, and then I can perpetually make sure that you never get it, because I've installed specific variables around you to make sure that it'll never happen. And you don't realize that if you just change your situation, like if you change your work environment, if you change your story, if you moved away from your family, if you did like any of those things, right? All of a sudden you're like, wait, I can just do immediately. I literally thought like that's a certain story was impossible. Yet the moment I moved away from them, it was so doable. Why? It wasn't that they were intentionally stopping you. It's just that they got installed their own cycle that they can't break whenever something presents, and it creates their set reaction. So then, for example, just so you guys know, like I know that I have it's a vulnerability that I've identified, that I've defeated, but it's always still present just because of my path growing up. An animal. If an animal presents that's getting hurt, like I was playing a video game the other day that had I literally was playing a game that is an RPG where you have to revive your characters if they fall. Think like Iden Chronicles or Divinity Original Sin, and which means that it's punishing if you make a mistake. And I'm already doing a challenge version where I'm doing with almost without spending any money, without any upgrades. So every encounter is extremely challenging. I had already lost one of my characters, which means that I was operating with 3 out of 4 characters. When I was doing that, I was moving forward in the story, trying to search for a scroll that casts a spell that revives my character. Yet I was going through a challenging cave with encounters that I'd never experienced before, and I was creating a rule for myself that unless I get a full game over, whatever happens when I overcome an encounter, I just continue. Just because it creates an interesting story. You guys get it? Because there's no cycle. Because otherwise, if we can repeat it, then we can change the variables and modify. Do you guys understand? If you just have to keep going, it's not easy. All of a sudden, I'm running through this cave. The story is getting pretty interesting because it's like a cult that got brainwashed by this like witch that saved them once, cured their sickness, and now they believe in her. So then now they all are her followers. But really, she's just trying to get back at her other sister because she's trying to like revive a evil dark god or something like that. Okay? So anyway, it's getting interesting. You see the cult, and then I see this pig, this boar. It's called like I forget his name. It was like let's just call him Theralon. And I'm like, oh my god, it's Theralon! And you just see him getting whipped and attacked with like a sword, and you see his health actually going down. I'm like, because normally in other games, they made it so that if a character, like they do that in the distance, but the character can't actually die. Just so you guys understand, it's just like what I call like a cutscene. It's like think of it like a little movie scene. They're getting attacked, but you know that they're not gonna lose. Yet it was active. Do you guys get what that means? It means that now that we saw that was happening, I was like, wow, he's losing more health and more health. If I don't run and intercept that encounter, the boar is going to die. So I didn't even hesitate. I just charged and I started the encounter. And normally it's a very strategic game where you can set up things to protect yourself. And I didn't do that. And it's because a boar, Theralon, was almost killed. And then I felt like I had something to protect. So because of that, during that entire encounter, he was still under attack. And I was like, I gotta save him. I gotta protect him because he will die. He will lose. And when that happened, I realized, wow, even though I've defeated it, I'm still vulnerable to that. If they present that to me, the cycle begins. I feel like I want to heal. I feel like I want to help. I feel like, so if there's things around me that are showcasing that they're suffering or experiencing problems or being tortured or being enslaved, or if I can easily help them or solve it, do you guys see the cycle begins anew? What if our character's silent and we just stand there? There's like a desert breeze blowing. We just watch the boar get murdered. And then we look at each other and we're like, this world should never be this way. You can see then the cycle is broken. Then the cycle is broken. Because we didn't respond to it. But then you see, now there's a consequence. There's a consequence to us breaking the cycle. Because now the boar, Theralon, died. And we could have prevented that. Do you guys see where the problem is? Why breaking our cycles are not easy? Because if you choose not to do anything when you're expected to, because they basically created you to, it means that if you don't intervene, like think of it like there's a loop, a circle. I think of it like a racetrack, like in Mario Kart. But if we keep doing that, and the moment there's a point where our racetrack is supposed to intersect with another racetrack, it's at that point where they created the loop, right? You guys see, like, they put the board there that's getting attacked. And that's when I'm like, I need to save him. If I choose not to, do you guys see that then? If I think of it like you just stop your little Mario Kart, your car, and you just watch in the distance and you see the board die. Well, then that's it. Do you guys get it? Then it's over. Because it was intended that you were going to bump into the boar at that moment. You were going to help them at that moment. So if I know that in all of you now, that I've created that cycle in all of you, think about it. I'm saying I already destroyed this one, guys, yet I'm still vulnerable to it. The moment it presents, I have to be extremely wary. I'm like, oh, man. Literally, just any kid that maybe doesn't know something, that's struggling, an animal, anything like that, I'm just like, oh, man. And if I can help them, do you guys get how it happens? That's how they create the cycle. And the worst part is that then I chose to start creating distance. So then I'm saying I just stopped and watched as the boar died. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is that the answer? I'm like, it is. The cycle broke. Do you guys get it? Now there's no more cycle. But there was a consequence. There was a punishment. There was an actual loss that happened because of it. And I'm telling you guys, it is the answer. Because if you can just accept that, well, then there's nothing that they can do. Well, if I'm not going to help. If the board dies now, oh well. You guys see, like, I'm not saying that that's the path we should all go to. That's exactly what I don't want us to do. Because I don't believe the world needs to operate that way. But you need to practice that with things that don't have a life or death consequence. Because if you can start practicing how to break your cycles in things that don't have severe consequences, imagine if you practiced in that video game that I just told you guys, that story. You're like, oh, I know I always do that. No, I'm not going to do that this time. You guys see how you can start learning the lesson that can allow you to break the cycles that are created around you without ever having to suffer the consequence of doing so. That is the benefit of video games. Something where you can actually interact and change the outcome in. You create your own experiences to do so. Anyway. So, that's the minor cycle. What does the minor cycle lead to? What I call the major cycle. It's the overall grand narrative that we're all trapped in. And like I said, I want us to all be able to get to it by just adding our own one sentence to the story, not adding the sentences that they chose for us, so that it all is cohesive and aligns the way they want. Stories shouldn't be so clean. Stories shouldn't be so set up. Do you guys get it? A real story just happens. It's just, we're just moving forward, and we're just operating because we're not trapped by any cycle that makes us respond a specific way. So what that all leads to is if we've now practiced breaking our minor cycles, what we've now realized is that we now feel, because what ends up happening at this point, and I was victim of this too, it's going to happen to every single person, is that we now create what we call rebellious acts, intentional rebellious acts. And this is where most people get lost, because they believe, this is where why most rebellions happen. They believe that to break the cycle, they need to create a rebellious act. And they're not wrong. You guys see they have to deviate. But what ends up happening is that it now creates a need. It now creates a need. They have to do something. Do you guys see? I have to disrupt this. I have to cause this problem. I have to fight back like this. I have to not do this. I have to hurt. You guys get it? So what ends up happening then is that we're vulnerable to that, because then a new cycle can be created there. Because now they're going to get us trapped in the rebellious cycle. If I need to do now these things, I need to make sure that the cycle is broken, or that I'm free, or that I'm healed, or that I'm believing, or I'm something like that, or I'm fighting back, or I feel better. Well then, can't they just keep presenting certain things that will make us keep rebelling? I think about it as the empire is enslaving this rice farm village. They don't even have to be there anymore. Do you guys get it? Just the threat, just the thought that the empire might return and visit them. That if anyone is saying anything against them, the empire, or doing anything that the empire doesn't agree with, that they installed previously, they're so worried about what could happen. Do you guys get it? That now they're perpetually trapped in a cycle. So some of them might actually resort then to rebellion because of that. Because they feel the need to. But you see, now that can cause the intersection with the empire, where if that happens, now a new cycle is created. Where now they're both going to be in a new internal conflict over and over again every single time. If the empire ever creates distance and gets quiet, then all of a sudden the rice farmers create rebellion. So then the empire has to return. Now the rice farmers get attacked. Do you guys see? So then they get quiet again. Empire creates distance. Do you guys get it? We all think that these stories happen organically, and I'm saying that they create cycles in all of us. Loops that just keep repeating over and over again. And you guys need to identify them. There's just nothing else to it. Because everyone thinks that, oh, I'm going to rebel and I'm going to break it. And the only way, if you actually do the rebellion act, is you have to then destroy the story completely. Which means, like, for most of you, it would be quitting your job, moving away from your family, getting a new girl. Do you guys get it? Like, that's the only way, because otherwise your rebellious acts don't accomplish anything. Because it just creates a new cycle. It just creates a new cycle. If people don't understand how the cycles are created, they literally will just keep repeating them forever. It's just that simple. I'm telling you guys, with every single person I've interacted with over the last 2 years, within a day of interacting with them, there's invisible things in this world that create a cycle for us with them. I saw it with every single person I interacted with over the last 2 years. I'm telling you, it's terrifying. And I see it and I want to tell them about it, but if you tell them, then they get defensive. So there's nothing you can do. So then it creates a new cycle. So you just have to walk away and watch the boar die. Do you guys get it? How sad it is? Because if you point it out to them that they literally are creating a cycle for them right now, they can't see it. They just can't. It's just that simple. So, How do we break that? Well, we get to a point where now we don't feel like we need to do something anymore. You know what? Whatever your role is, so like, I don't feel like being the rice farmer anymore. I don't feel like being the rebellion leader anymore. I don't feel like doing that anymore. Because once you get to that point where you don't feel like you need to anymore, because we've now identified the cycle. Do you guys get it? Once you see it over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, like, why can't we break free? Why can't we change? Why can't we deviate? And once you see it, and you spot where it's happening, do you guys get it? Then you can just say, no more. But for most of us, we can't see it. If I don't feel the need to do something anymore, then we're protected. We're protected then. Because you can see that there's no story, there's no role, there's no purpose for us of how we need to operate. Now we're free. Now we're free to do anything. We can just talk. I'm telling you guys, it happens without you all even realizing. Right now, as I was doing this segment right here, they inserted positives, negatives, and then they started trying to make me be like, well, you are forgetting what you all wanted to talk about. I'm like, I don't need to talk about anything. You guys get what that means? It means that they were trying to enslave me and create a cycle right now as I'm just talking mentally without you guys even being aware of that. Those were the things that were being inserted into my head. Do you all get how this is done? You all think that you're so above everything that this won't happen to me. You think I'm an idiot? Of course I'm not gonna. I can identify all my cycles, all my loops. I'm telling you guys, they were trying to create one right now as I'm just streaming actively, mentally, without me anything presenting. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So that leads me to what I actually was trying to figure out for myself. So you solve something, right? There's no need anymore. You don't have to. You don't always respond the same way. You break the cycle. You're like, I don't care anymore. I really don't. I don't need an outcome. I don't need a blessing. I don't need good things. I don't need bad things. Like, think of like all the things that you guys desire. All those things, because those are the stories that they dangle in front of us, guys, right? Do you want this? Do you want this? That's how they do it, guys. And if I don't need that, well, what can they do? Think about it, guys. Why is it that we get stuck in cycles? Because we need something that, like, the cycle's going like this over and over again, but it's to, at some point, it's to produce something, a result. And for the result could just be the next step in a story. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So the cycle repeats every single time until we take the next step. So then we're in a new cycle. Okay? Think about it like there's just literally cycles. That's how the world works. We're in an endless loop until we take the next step, and we're now in the next area, and it's just we're like almost like in a little sandbox in a box or a little arena. The Yansha Plains, the Ruby Sea, I don't know, right, guys? It doesn't matter. Like just an environment, and you can't leave that area until you solve the cycle there, and then you go to the next area. And I'm trying to portray it on a more grander scale, but it really is very minor, guys, just so you guys understand. Most of it's mental. And we don't even see that it's happening. And they create the things around us that I've said are meant to intersect with us at a specific points at our cycle, right? Think of the things that we bump into over and over again. Boom, boom, boom. Because those things are meant to prevent us from taking to the next step to go into a new cycle. That's what I'm saying. If you guys just from 0 to 100 decide, I don't need anything. I don't care about an outcome. I don't care about a story. I don't care about any of these things. You can just walk forward and you're like, well, what's this area? Whoa, this area is advanced. This area is complicated. This area has a lot of high level enemies over here. Didn't follow the intended order. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Do you guys understand that if you do that, there's nothing they can do? Because all of a sudden, then they try to remind you, like, well, wait, you didn't interact with this. Wait, what? But that thing has no relevance in this new area. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? If you just take a step forward, because now you don't feel the need to do something anymore, because you're not chained down by your cycle. You don't operate on your cycle. You don't care about those storylines. There's nothing that again, you're trying not to cause consequences or bad. Ideally, you're just like, hey, I'm not going to interact with anyone. Just test it out like that. I'm not going to interact with anyone. Let's see what happens. I'm not trying to cause anyone harm at all. Just so you guys understand, I'm not trying to cause any harm. That's how we should all be operating. Only for good. But when you're doing that, all of a sudden you realize that all the other cycles now are starting to get deviated. Because think about it like it's just an endless loop, and you always bumped here into them, but sometimes it was also here and here. Do you guys get it? Like if you change your cycle, for most of you, just think of it like your sleep cycle. If you change when you bump into someone, the timing, whether if it's before something or after something, it affects something dramatically. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Because if you're meant to bump into, if a chess piece is supposed to bump into another chess piece at this point, because they both have experienced the things that beforehand that they always do, so they always interact the same way. But if all of a sudden we bump over here into each other, do you guys understand that it changes things dramatically? And I want you guys to think about, I'm using people just for all of you to conceptualize this, and for myself, but really, this is everything. This is why if we deviate the timing, if we deviate the order, if we deviate when we do something, there's nothing they can do. Because it breaks the cycle. Because then you see it starts, because then it doesn't fully break the cycle, it deviates the cycle. Because all of a sudden, at that point, we realize, wait a minute, things changed a little bit. But what happens when we do that is that it doesn't we're still in the cycle. Do you guys get it? The only way you can break free from the cycle is to just realize there's no need. There's no need. Can you survive? Can you survive? If you can survive, then there's nothing they can do. And how can you survive? By learning how to create positives. For myself, it'd be really nice to have a girl right now by my side again. It'd be really nice to have a kid again. It'd be really nice to have pets again. It'd be really nice to have an organization where I could heal and help the world. And would really even just parent kids and myself and other people. Help all of them thrive. Just a community of the people that I know are not poisoned, are not enslaved, that actually just have good intent, don't care about externals, and just are only going to talk their positives. So then we don't have to worry about when we interact with someone that they're going to literally be sending poisoned reminders at us and nudges. And if they do, we're like, quarantine that person temporarily, they're consumed. You guys get it? Like that, making a little community, like a remnant city, like that would be great. It really would. But do you guys see that if that sounds great, because now I know that I could be safe. That I could have the girl, I could have the kid, I could have the pet, I could have the organization. I could actually interact with people again. and because I know now that they're not going to be poison. But hear all what I'm saying, that like all those things are like now can become needs. Well, if I can't feel like living or thriving or operating again until I have those things, then I'm stuck in a cycle. Because I'm now like, well, they took that, 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 they took that. I mean, the rice farmers example. What if like their villagers, their friends, their family got taken by the empire, some to be slaves and some to become soldiers, or Westheim, Germany. And now the villagers are gone. There's fewer villagers there, and people moved away. And for them, their ultimate treasures were other villagers because they lived there their entire life. Do you guys get it? So for them, that was their treasure. So if all of a sudden those things are gone, well, now they're now they can't survive anymore. You see, they became a need for them. And that's what they do, guys. Like they target the things that are our needs to create the cycles. They target the things that are our needs to create the cycles. They target the things that are our needs to create the cycles. But something, you realize like there's very few things that we really do need. And I mean, think about it, guys. Even food and water. Do you guys get it? It's used to create the cycles. Sleep is used to create the cycles. Do you guys see? All the things that become requirements, that have punishments attached to them, are the things that they use to create the cycles. Yet, what ended up happening in this world is that they started doing that for things that don't actually have punishments or requirements. Why do having your friends or your family at your small little farm village in Westheim, Germany, or the rice farm village in Asia, why does that matter at all? Do you guys get it? Like, you don't need that. There's no requirement. There's no punishment if you don't have it. It's a bonus. It's a real, but you see, it got built up in all of us. And this is the part that I struggle to conceptualize for so much time, because I'm like, it's not a need. But I'm telling you guys, it's become a need. And that one is one that you all can't defeat anymore. I couldn't understand this for so much time. I just couldn't. I couldn't comprehend why, for like myself, like the girl, it's the girl right now, because the girl unlocks the next things. But it's like the girl, kid, pet, like organization, just like a community, right? And family. But I'm like, what's the first step there? It's the girl. And that, because I don't want to just adopt a kid, just raise it as a single dad. I don't want to just, you guys get it? Like, I want the full experience. So do you guys see that the girl was the first step there? So then it's a bonus. But you see now it was built up to become a need. But then because I'm like, it's still just a bonus. It is. But if the girl now becomes a need, now there's other things, little tendrils attached to that create new needs and new cycles. Well, what do I need if I need that? 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 Do you guys get how they do it? Is that they first target something that's not a need, because sleep, food, water, things of that nature, that's easy. I think all of us can understand that, but we don't understand that something gets built up to become a need for us. And I'm saying it actually is a need now for us. And I thought just moving to the side and be like, it's not, is actually the answer. I'm saying that's the worst thing you can do, because the need is still present, yet you've given up on it. So then all they do is they present reminders. So then you feel the boost of the need, but then you get reminded that you don't have it or you can't have it. And that's how they do it. So, I realize that we have to accept that they create needs in us that are not actual needs. But they become that way because they're our main story. And you can fight it, but I'm telling you guys, there's no point. It's better to just, like, for myself, I'm like, yeah, the girl, it's everything. It's literally everything. Like, it's like my whole, it's not, my reason isn't even now to heal and exist anymore. Like, it's the girl. Like, that's it. I just need to, like that. You guys get it? Like, I'm saying it's like that binary. And people are like, that's sad. I'm like, no, on the contrary. Because once you understand that that's what got built up through my own choosing, based on all my experiences, but also based on everything that I encountered in my entire life. Once you understand that that becomes the need, you now know, wait, so that's what they're going to attack. That's what they're going to prevent. That's what they're going to use to create all the cycles. All the problems are going to revolve around that. There's going to then be subdivisions. Like I said, like for myself, like healing the world or helping people or uniting families or having a big family or a kid or a pet. Do you guys get it? But it still starts from that first cycle. For most of you guys think like you're born from seed and the end, whatever the end of the story is, doesn't matter. That isn't even real. There's more to that. Anyway, do you guys get it? So I would fight back against the fact that they built up a need that's not an actual need. I'm like, how's it possible? I don't need a girl. But no, they created that. You guys get it? And myself reinforced it. So if you don't realize that that's what happened to each and every one of us, they made something that's not a need actually become one for us because it's our main storyline driving purpose. But for most of us, that's what they attacked and prevented. And they used it to create all our stories. Every single one. Once you understand it, it all makes sense. I'm telling you, for myself, it's the girl. It's just that simple. I believe actually for 99% of the world it was meant to be, if you're a girl, it's a guy, and if you're a guy, it's a girl. I believe now, 99.9% certainty, that we all have the same built-in need. You're meant to be like that. That's the whole point of this game is just girl meets boy meets girl. That's the whole story. Everything that happens around that is the extra things, but I believe that that's the inherent need that they create in all of us. And it's created. You guys get it? It's not actual necessity, but we've all been fighting it so much. And I'm saying that it's actually real. So once you've identified, I'm like, so that's the need. They created that as a need. Now the cycle begins always around that. So what I realized, guys, is the only solution is because you could create a rebellious act. Be like, I'm never going to try to get a girl again. If I see a girl, I'm literally going to laugh at her. I'm going to poke fun at her. Wait, does that sound like people, guys, that you know? All those people are just trying to fight back against the fact that they can't get their need that got built up for them. It's sad, but it's true. What I'm saying is we have to get to a point, the only way to break the cycle from the entire world narrative is once you've identified the need that they built up in all of us, you just now, you don't give up because you don't want it anymore. You realize there's no need, but you actually have to feel that way. Because what I've come to realize is that most of us temporarily give up on something, but not because we chose to, there's no need. It's because we actually think that we can't achieve that need anymore. Well, if no matter what I try, I can't achieve, then I'll make do. So for myself now, I've realized that I don't need all those stories anymore. The girl, the kid, the pet, the organization. Like, I wrote it out and I'm like, wow, I've become pretty apathetic, indifferent. I just don't care anymore. And I couldn't understand what it was that made me feel that way. Like, I always put those in the distance. I'm like, I don't have to go that direction, but like, I still know that that's my direction. Do you guys understand? Like, those are things that I'm striving for. I'm saying that now I'm operating without striving for anything. People are like, that's horrible. I'm like, no, actually, it's the answer. I'm just being. Do you guys understand? Yes! There it is, Brachus Rex. I literally was created to just be. Can you guys all just be? It's the answer. Like, I'm not striving toward anything. As things happen, they happen. But I was worried this is the end of the story, but I'm like, actually, it's not the end of the story. It just means that there's no set story. Like, now I'm walking, and as whatever happens in the moment happens, because there's no need. Yet, oh, believe me, I have not forgot that the girl is everything, that I want the kid, that I want a pet again, that I would enjoy creating an organization with her and doing all that stuff, or guiding people, teaching people, and healing. You see, you don't forget that. But now you just are. So there's no cycle, because I'm telling you guys, what I realized was that I had defeated striving, or like the need for it, and I thought I was safe. I thought that was enough. But then I'm like, well, I could get some positives in places, and I can. But do you guys understand that then they were making me believe that it was almost possible temporarily that I could strive toward it again, because I was making some progress. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like, it made me not feel as good, because I knew that I was at risk. Because now it was becoming a need again. The cycle was getting created. Because then I'm like, well, where can I talk to girls? Do you guys understand? So then I'll keep going back there. And that's how they do it in every single thing. I'm saying it could even be social media websites. You think that could make you go more on that site? Do you guys get it? So I realized, wait, it's not about, okay, so I defeated the feel of the need. I'm not striving toward anything anymore. Like, think of it like, I'm not actively messaging a girl. Which means I just need to find a way to survive. I just need to find a way to survive. It doesn't matter what you guys do. But if you find a way to just survive and feel satisfied with, like, it could be like, hey, on your phone. Okay, this is where we were going. How to create positive experiences. Because how can you survive? That's really what this boils down to. How can you guys survive if you don't have your need that got built up, that you've been fighting? You're like, no, I don't need this. No, I do need it. I need a girl. Right? From what, like the rice farmers, like in the Westheim, Germany village, they need their villagers. Right? They need their family and their friend. Like, that's a real need for them now. It's the same level as food, water, and sleep. Do you guys get it? It's a real need for them now. That one's gonna blow my mind when I re-listen to this. It actually becomes a real need. So that's what they do. They make something become a real need, and we are like, that's not possible. It's not. We don't need it. No, we actually do, and that's how we get in trouble. That's how we get all the problems happen. That's how the cycles get created, and that's how the despair, the sorrow, the misery, everything. It's through our need. So Gosh, to think that there's actually people, just throwing out a little dart for people to help them. There's actual people that have a need for adoration, for fame, for money, for that. That one is so sad. Do you guys get it? It's just so sad. But that's real. It got created. It's an actual need for that. All their cycles originate from that. Holy crap. Maybe we all don't have the girl. Maybe for some of them it's actually that. Oh my gosh. Think about it. Building a life for the girl versus money. Ah, so they do the money one on the people they want to be the like the big CEOs, the ones who are going to just exploit from everyone. Ah, so that's it. Anyway, that's a side topic, but and if anyone does listen to that, that should help them piece them things together. So, we're trying to survive. How can we survive if we've given up on that need now that got created for us? How can we survive? What are the things that matter? Well, we have to be able to create our own positive experiences. Step one. Because if you can create your own positive experiences, what I want people to understand is it doesn't matter if the cycle starts happening again. Because you're outside the cycle. So you see it happening and you're like, oh, it's beginning again. But you're here. You guys get it? And when you're outside of the cycle, that means that you don't have access to anything else. Think of it like, just using overt things, but like, like you don't have access to water anymore. Right? It's not true. But it feels that way because the cycle is beginning. So if you just walk outside of the cycle, because now you don't need to do anything that's in the cycle, well, now you just need to survive. You still have access to some things, but you don't have access to them in the same way anymore, because if you do access to the same things, then the cycle begins again. So now you're like, well, can I create positives? Can I create positives that let me feel like I have the need, but I don't actually, I'm not striving towards, I'm not getting it, I don't have it with me right now? I'm saying you guys need to be able to do that, but you can't just do it through, there has to be more to it. So what do I mean by that? Number one, you have to be able to create your own mental world with these things, your own experience. Because if you let them create it, 9 out of 10 times, guys, it's not for good. As we're experiencing things, they start presenting things. They use any seed that is present, and they look for things that can remind us of something else. Like, what if I told you guys right now, like, this salsa that I'm going to take a bite of reminds me of why crafting systems in video games can be baits to going down optimal paths, because all of a sudden now we are so worried about hey, we need to make everything have a use, so then all the items around us that we can collect have benefits. And yeah, what else? Oh, but wait, we want people to craft, so we need to make them craft good things. But the only way they can get those items, like that really powerful potion or like an armor or stuff like that, is by like defeating a challenging encounter and getting it like in a chest. I call it loot. If they can craft the same thing as they can get there, that means that they don't really need to do the encounter, do they? Or if they do the encounter, then they don't have to craft. So wait, crafting should only be about unique things, not about repeatable things that we can get elsewhere. You guys see, like, now we're talking about design. So that means that if we're just roaming a region, like, this is for video game design, but this is design in general, guys. We're just roaming somewhere, and if I can get, like, water, if I can get coffee, and I can get this, well, I shouldn't be able to then craft water, coffee, and this. I call it the swing slide example. If you guys live in a neighborhood that has a playground that has a swing and slide and you have a kid, you shouldn't get a swing and a slide at your home. Because if you do you guys understand that you remove the meaning and the purpose and the value of the swing and the slide at the playground? So now there's no reason to go there anymore. You could say, that's different. He might be able to play with other kids. But then you see, now it creates, well, it's because then you'll experience other kids there. But you guys see that now you have to be able to go to a location or do something regardless if other people are present, regardless if other variables present that you don't control. So now, if I'm going to the swing and the slide because I have my kid and I want to talk to hot moms there that also are single moms. If I want to go to that, and then only for that, do you guys get it? What if I go there and there's no hot single mom with her kids there? Do you guys see? You have to be able to do the swing and slide experience just for itself. But if you have that experience elsewhere, then it removes that from that. So then now, when you go to the swing and the slide, you guys care about what can I get there that, since I already covered the swing and slide, what do I have there? Oh, well, it's the other people. If you ever go to a location, the benefit is other people. That's the danger, guys, because we don't control that. It means that they can now create the cycles that they want, and so we bump into things at the specific time that they want. Do you guys get it? You can't allow them for anything you do that it's based on other people. If you do bump into one, so be it. But it cannot be because you're going for that. It just can't. I'm saying, because if you do, they're writing the story. I just think about it back in the day when I got my first girl. There was times I was going out on a hunt. Do you guys get it? Like my whole purpose was searching for that. Searching for the girl, searching for the girl. So I was going locations for that. I'm not saying that I wasn't bumping into them, but do you guys understand that what happens if this time I didn't? But also, you see, now that became the need. Now a need was becoming, I need to encounter others that I can't control. When you defeat that and you're like, well, if I go there, what would be the purpose of that? It's something that I can do regardless if anyone presents. I can do it by myself because I can create my own experience. If your experience is you want to raise your kid or play with your kid and teach your kid, can you do so in a playground? By just you and the kid. Can you go on a journey with him and have him explore with you? Do you see, you don't need anything else to present. You don't need other people there. You create your own experience. So, what if the first time I went to that slide in the playground, we went there and other people were there and they were starting to tell us how to use the slide in the playground, the slide and swing, and how everything should operate, and this is how you do it, this is how you should play with your kids here, this is how you should do all that. Do you guys see? I'm not creating the experience anymore then. I'm now basing it off of how they told me it has to be. I'm like, oh, so that's how you're supposed to experience these things? Yeah, Final Fantasy 14. The dungeons. Everyone just rushes. They're just all rushing because they're basing it off of how other people experience it. I'm like, why don't we just explore the dungeons? And I got to really see what's up. I'm like, took it slow. Why do I have to play things the way you guys say? I'm not saying that some suggestions might not be bad, but do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that what they end up doing is, if you start breaking free because there's no more need, you're not striving toward anything, you're just trying to figure out how to survive, is you can't allow them to create the first experience. Because if they do it somewhere, it's almost better to just create something new then. Because you can go back to it after some distance, but I'm saying, guys, if you let them create the first experience, they're installing little darkness seeds everywhere. that are going to just be used to then remind us of bad things versus good things. And if you can almost like infiltrate, like you take that first step and you do it on a day that they don't expect, and then you break the cycle, you can add in your own positives and your own path. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that now you are installing the positives. You are creating the first positive memory that's like the wellspring that now gets created from everything. So it means if you ever go back to that thing, you have a positive that you can use. I think about it like we go to a new region in the game or in the world or something, like for you guys in the outside world, and you're gonna explore. And when you're gonna explore, all of a sudden you put in some music on your phone that you've never heard before, and you're like, this is gonna be this region's exploration music. That's awesome. And you just do that, or you have like a little fun experience. Gummy bears, and it reminds you of that, and you see, like, it doesn't matter what happens as you in the coming days, or you already created a positive for yourself that you created. You didn't need anything else to present. You weren't reliant on something else creating an experience for you. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? You're not doing it based on how other people tell you it has to be done. This goes for anything, guys. Anything. I'm just telling you guys. I'm not going to go down that path, but I just want people to understand anything. They try to make us think that it has to be done a specific way. So creating our positive experiences, there's nothing they can do. Because if you know how to do that, you can survive regardless of what your circumstances are. Now, what I'm going to make you all realize is you don't tolerate your old circumstances anymore. Do you guys get it? You won't tolerate them anymore because you're now thriving. You're surviving, but thriving. You're happy when you're doing those things, but not when you're doing anything else. Which means that, but then they try to get you back in the cycle is what I'm trying to get you guys to realize. But if you can just keep creating your own positives, you're not reliant on something else creating the experience for you. I guess that's really my takeaway. It's kind of sad because there's a lot of fun video games. They're fun. Or experiences that are based on something else creating the experience. But I'm starting to realize that the ones that are actually the most enjoyable now, that are safe, and safe meaning, doesn't mean I can't ever do those things again, but it's just the ones that I create my experience in. Usually it's a single player thing, something that's more fixed, crafted encounters, because then we can just add our own things to them. Do you guys get it? Like, if right now I present to you guys a plate, right? There's 10 breadcrumbs on there, guys. All right? If I present that to all of you, I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? Create something with that. Okay, I don't know what, but I'm gonna. Or if I present to you guys, well, this time I'm gonna present to you a bowl. It has 50 crumbs. Oh, next time I'm gonna present to you the plate. Now it has only 2 crumbs. You guys see, like, your experience is dependent on something else. You can still make it better or worse based on what you got presented. That's a skill set, right? It's true greatness comes from being able to deal with what we got, the cards that were dealt to us. Sure, but do you guys understand that we're now then responding to their cycle, to their crafted encounter, or to their randomness that they presented for us? If there's something that's already fixed and I can create anything from that, do you guys see, like, remember what I used? I used the salsa as an example by taking a bite of salsa, as it reminded me of tomato sauce that I crafted in a video game, which got me to talk about video game design, which led me to the slide in the playground and swing example, which got me to talk about girls, hot moms, and I even can think of one, and teaching a kid. And you guys see, like, all of a sudden, and that all happened from taking a bite or a sip of salsa. There's nothing they can do, because you see, I'm not sure that now the problem though is I might feel like now I want to go to to some playground and find some hot single moms. That's possible. You guys see, like, now all of a sudden we feel that, but that's what I call how they begin the cycle again, because they bait us towards excess. They bait us towards starting those stories. It now all of a sudden feels like we need to do something again. I'm like, yeah. And I'm saying, if you can create your own, and you have to create what I call like a release of some sort. So for myself, like, hey, after I do this, I'm going to be able to, I can play some video games now and create an experience in them, or just overcome something challenging, and I'll feel fine. You see, like, I created a release, because like I created all these positives I talked about, and then I created a release. But think of it like you almost like are building up your own need and your own end. So then you don't have to strive for anything anymore, because there's no need. You can survive by yourself. What if, like, those villagers in that German Westheim town, or the rice village in Kugane, decided to just like create like a small little like festival or something, and they just talked to the people who are still there. They talked and they gathered and they did something different, and they were like, they created now their own stories and their own experiences from that. Sure, all those the things that did need all those other people are never going to come back, but see, like, now they build it up like that, and then the release is, well, hey guys, I don't know, can we like make a can we like record ourselves, like talking about these, all doing this festival, and then can we watch it later? Do you guys get it? And then now they have that video to watch of them at this festival or something like that, and it helps them. You guys, I don't know, like, do you guys see, like, they create their own experiences, not dependent on anything. Doesn't matter if the empire is standing outside and they're not the current president, but they're like, wait, you guys celebrated yesterday? You made your own festival? What? How is that possible? And you recorded it? How is that possible? You are supposed to be suffering. You're supposed to be misery because we kept what you need out of reach. We've prevented you, and we've have multiple cycles that are all present around you at the moment. They're supposed to bump into you right when you're supposed to try. It's to create problems. How is it possible that you're finding ways? This is not what we intended. Do you guys see? I'm not striving toward anything. I can survive forever. People are like, but you're not trying to do any story. I'm like, correct. Every story must have an ending. But now, my story, see, we've always been all operating that every story needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And like the rising climax, all those stuff, right? All those things. But think about what I'm saying. Most of you guys probably are like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's means that we were taught that. What if stories don't operate that way anymore? What if stories don't operate that way anymore? Does it mean that we can't still take some inspiration from those things? Like, that's a really good moment. Like, because, you know, there's things that are happening. If we write our own story, right, we want things to happen. But I'm like, isn't something happening right now? Am I not doing a recording? Something that I wanted to piece something together. I'm creating the release, just so you guys know. This is my version of my release, because I hadn't done one in a few days, but they were attacking viciously. They were inserting long, and I was fine, but I was just like, I had felt like this, I couldn't really piece together. I was like, it's not really despair, but I feel like I've completely given up. I'm not striving toward anything. And I thought it was a bad thing at first, but then I'm like, that's actually a good thing. I'm just indifferent and protected. But I was much more vulnerable, and I'm like, so if they put too much into my head, that gets built up over some time, I'm like, okay, I can do one of these things to just cleanse me, because I can just talk about whatever. It doesn't really even matter. You let out all the darkness at the beginning, and then now we just have fun with it. We're just talking. I don't even know if I'm sure it's amazing, but I don't even know if it's going to communicate everything I wanted, but I got what I needed from it. You guys see, I don't need anything else. I'm not striving toward anything. I'm not striving to heal all of you anymore. It has things that can help people, but it's not a need anymore. I'm not striving toward that. You guys get it? There's nothing that can present in the cycle, right? Oh, you see it? Because I'm over here. There's a million things happening over here like this. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm not gonna even walk over there. You guys get it? If you can find a way to create that for yourself, I'm doing that for myself right now. I have a song in the background that I enjoy, and I can just talk my knowledge. And it allows me to almost like release all what they've been building up over the past few days. I'm just like, there's good knowledge here, but at the same time, like, after you get attacked so much, I'm like, okay, just doing something like this to heal and guide is powerful. It's for myself. You see, I don't have to do this every day. I can, but I don't have to anymore. Now, I don't only have to do it in response to when it gets built up enough, but I now know that now I can also do this when that happens. If I don't do this for 5 more days now, and I'm great, and then another 5 days happen, I'm like, ooh, now they built it up. Yeah, I can do that. But you see, I can never do it when it's expected, 100%, because if I do, it's just, even if it's good, you guys understand? The problem is that if I do it when it's expected, we're on the cycle. If I do it when it's not expected, there's no cycle present. For the things that, there's things around us that have more minor cycles. Do you guys get it? Like the video games? And they create minor cycles, but this one's the major cycle. I don't know, I guess things that are related to our overall narrative, ours that connects to the universal narrative. I guess that's what that's what it is. So if I was a video game designer, like that was like my role, and I created video games for people. Do you guys get it? That means that any cycle that had to do with video games or creating would actually now be my major one, because that would intersect with how the overall world narrative, something that I present to the world, the outside world. And this is something that I do, and usually, so you guys get it. Like, that's the danger. If I would start like streaming my video games and doing that, well, then now it can become part of that cycle, the major cycle, because anything that we start doing towards the outside world becomes that, because it's starting to connect into the major narrative. That's fascinating. I never really thought about it like that. You guys see the power of creating your own positive experiences. There's nothing they can do then. I'm going to tell you, though, they're going to try, though. They try to weaponize it. But if you know it's your positive, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You have fun with it, but it still teleports you to different things, so you guys have to be careful. But don't let them create the positives for you. You create your own. And if you beat them to the punch, by the time they get there, there's no punch to drink. Have options. For example, hey, I want to basically, just so you guys know what I'm talking about today. Even though I grouped it up, really was just me thinking, like, I'm just going to talk what I'm experiencing. This is all that I've been experiencing. This is really a response to all the knowledge that I've shared in my previous streams. But I'm telling you guys, can I play multiple video games? Can I listen to different songs? Can I talk about different things? Do you guys get it? Once there's no need, we're not rebellious acts. There's no need. We can just survive by creating our own positive experience. I'm not striving toward anything, which means my story now is a story of, as we're just walking, things are happening. Now we can decide at any point if we want to do a certain story, because we don't have to anymore. to help people conceptualize. Think of it like if I message 50 girls on a website and they all respond, I can now choose which one to reply to. I'm not saying that that's what we should be doing, but I want people to understand that like that. Is that if that's how you operate with a story, it means there's no beginning, middle, or end, because beginning, middle, or end would be like, first I messaged this girl, then I messaged that one, then I messaged this one, and that's the one I'm going to date. See, beginning, middle, end. If there's just 50, and you can just choose randomly, doesn't even matter, you for yourself, and you create your own experience in each one, there's nothing they can do. And that's what we just need to get to. It's a new way to write stories, and it's a new way to create stories. Because normally a story is that we're striving towards an end outcome, right? Like, think about it like guys, like, oh, this is a revenge story. This is a love story. This is a boy's gonna get the girl. He's gonna take her to paradise, to Elysia. Oh, this is where he's gonna have revenge because the girl that his childhood friend got hurt, and now he wants to like defeat the things that did that. Oh, there. I could keep going, but do you guys see like those are stories that we understand? Like there's something that happens and it creates the end outcome. And I'm not saying those stories are great, but throughout, can we just respond to the things that are just happening? We don't have to. You see, we're just walking. There's no sets. Like, for created experiences, guys, this is where I'm going to end. For created experiences, for like, hey, I'm playing a video game that has a story, or watching a movie or a book that has a story. It's good to have like those crafted encounters, because what you guys are going to realize is that we watch things, or we play things, or we read things, or we consume things that help us kind of like conceptualize and feel and experience kind of what we're going through right now, help us like kind of like understand it a little bit more. Or for most of us, that's something that we don't have. But usually it's what we're going through, what we're experiencing. So if anyone else is experiencing what I'm experiencing right now, this is going to be extremely helpful for them. Because if they're asking these questions, they're like, oh, I wish someone could like kind of talk this through. Do you guys get it? That's really the benefit of doing something like this even for myself. So when we're creating stories, like if I decided to like make my video game and write a story, just whatever now, making it a little more crafted is fine. You guys see, because it could be for an experience. But in our personal life, our own life, we don't need to do that because, well, we're not using it as a way to help other people understand and explain things, even though we are giving them that benefit. You see, I'm like, oh, if the yellow dot in the distance, I'm like, oh, it's that girl with the yellow bikini, Riku. If that was it, you guys get it? Like, if that's the only thing I'm striving toward, and I'm walking, like, everything I'm doing is just walking toward that, now I'm on their cycle. I'm saying, I see it, like, I'm still heading towards that yellow dot. Do you guys get it? I'm still heading towards that yellow dot. But I don't need to anymore. So that means that I might actually never get there. I might never get there. People are like, how's that possible? That's the whole point of the whole story. I'm like, exactly. So I'm down here. And the yellow dot's up there. And I might spend like, I don't know, 10 years down here. But you see, guys, I'm learning things, I'm experiencing things, I'm exploring. And then randomly, year 11, I'm going to make it to the yellow dot in one jump. And people are like, how's that possible? And I'm like, oh, it's because you guys see, I wasn't playing your guys' cycle. I wasn't playing you guys' created encounter. I wasn't playing your guys' crafted storyline. I was doing my own thing. And then at any point, I can just go zoop, 0 to 100. Do you guys get it? If you're just doing your own thing, not worrying at all about anything, just there's no need. You're not striving toward anything. You're just doing, you're experiencing, you're creating your own experiences. At any point then, when they least expect it, when the cycle is currently broken, right? Because there's nothing that's bumping into this, that's preventing what they built up for need. And you can just go, hey there, you want to go on a date? And there's nothing they could do. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that if they've been trying to build up that I should ask out a girl for like 10 years or something, and then I don't, and then randomly on year 13, on the third day of the third month, I just say, this is what I'm going to do it. I just do it. They're like, they're not going to have anything prepared because they didn't expect that you would do so. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? It means that there's no cycle. That means that our contribution to the world narrative isn't predetermined. We're just adding as we're going. Because otherwise, they're like, well, now we want him to talk about progression. Now we want him to talk about how to parent. Now we want him. You guys get how they do this? Is that they make those things our need, and then we need them to survive. I'm saying we can survive without them. We're not striving for anything, and we just operate. I think it's just like little chaos. We're just like there's like a square here, and we're just going all over within the square. And then at any point when we decide, there's no reason or rhyme or reason to it. Do you guys get it? There's none. We can just go. Because we're fully healed. We understand all the cycles. Because when you're inside that box and you're just doing your own thing and you're creating your own thing, you see all the cycles. You just see them. You're like, whoa. Boom, boom. I guess to give you guys an example, think of it like there's the Mario Kart, the race cars, or like a chocobo racing or something, like a bird. People are riding a bird, and they're just, you just see them fly by super fast. And eventually, though, you realize, that the blue chocobo, the blue car, or the white car, and the white chocobo, they appear. One appears every 10 days, and the other one appears every 12. Because you see, they're on a cycle, which means that they're expected and intended to bump into things on the cycles that intersect there. Which means that if you deviate your cycle, you won't encounter things anymore. But if you're in a spot where you can observe the cycle, you can watch and see how it all happens, then you can see, oh wow, that's when it happens. Zoom, zoom. You can see you're operating outside of the cycle. So that means if at any point you want to jump, you can, the moment it goes, zoom, there's that opening. Oh, there it goes. It's just the white car and the blue chocobo just race by. Now we go. And that's when you can just jump straight. For example, in my case, like to the girl, to the organization, to the kid, to the pet, whatever it is for you guys. But you can see then there's no cycle intersection event that happens because we understand the timings now of how things operate. But you have to be able to be in a position where you're creating your own positives that you can survive for without striving toward anything. And just creating your own positives endlessly without allowing them to present more positives. Because you once in a while you can let it happen, but you have to be very careful because I'm telling you guys, they start presenting more positives and it's baits towards excess and it's baits towards their stories because that's how they can start getting us to keep doing and keep adding more and keep exploring and keep doing. And all of a sudden now that the need, all that yellow dot in this instance, all of a sudden it's like, we need to do this like tomorrow. I need to go tomorrow. I need to talk to the girl tomorrow. And you're like, but why? We were fine for, see, because they built it up. And if we allow them to do so, now it's not, we don't care about it surviving in our square anymore. Now we care about being, you guys get it? It's how it happens to all of us. It's not an accident. If they can't stop you, if you're just surviving and you're not letting their misery, their problems, their cycles deviate you, cause you despair, well then if you create your own positive experiences, doesn't mean you're ever gonna, you guys get it? We can always be better. We can always be happy. We shouldn't have to do this. This shouldn't be necessary is what I'm trying to get all of you to realize. We shouldn't need to do this to feel better. Our reality should just be better. The world shouldn't be designed this way. We should be able to thrive and survive not because we have to do this, but because our reality is actually just great. No problems, because we don't need them. But you guys see, if you do this, you just take away all their power because they can't do anything to you anymore. Because all of you are just desperately searching. Like I just think about like all the girls that are just like, I need to get a guy, I need to get a boyfriend. I'm like, well, you can message me. But you see, even right there, guys, you see, but they're trying so that they make mistakes because then they encounter the ones that they want them to encounter, so that it happens at their timing, so then their story gets written the way they want. So then they don't even have choice anymore. Do you guys get it? Because now they're stuck. So now I feel trapped. I'm telling you, if most of us would just be patient and we're not worried about like getting the girl, because now we're just in our own little box, creating our own positives. We don't need to drive, and we're not operating on anyone's cycle. We're not intersecting with anything. That means that Once we're ready, whenever we want, at any point we can just go droop, at any point. Do you guys get it? Because we now know our belief. We don't need it. We're not striving toward anything. It means that we can just do. That today I proved it to myself yet again. Out of nowhere, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's just stream today. Fuck it. I'm like, they presented a lot of negatives recently. It's been building up. Let's just stream. Like, what? Do you guys get it? There's nothing that they can do. If you just decide from 0 to 100 at any point. But if you're always walking toward it as a need, then you can't survive. If there's no need anymore, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm there. The sad reality is, guys, is that the only downside to this is that you might actually never achieve it. I just want people to understand this. It's possible. All my crafted positive experiences and everything that I do, guys, they let you survive no matter what your reality is. And you learn so many lessons. That's why I'm saying that's actually the key. You learn so many lessons because you make it easier for yourself, right? You create these positives for yourself that let you temporarily believe it and make it so that you can learn the lessons. Because what I realized, guys, this is it. This is the answer. What I realized, guys, is when we're not seeing any progress whatsoever, we start getting deflated. We start getting defeated because I'm like, it's not even possible. They're not taking any damage. They're healing. I'm just losing. And then when we lose, then we just get reminded that we're not good. So then we feel like rushing, or we feel like doing the best things, and I'm just like, wait, okay, so let's make it a little easier first. Let's just survive. And then all of a sudden you realize, wait, so that's how this works. That's how that works. Ah, that's how that works. Which means that if now you ever do the encounter, you understand how it works, and you will most likely succeed. But if you don't, it's okay. Do you guys get it? Because you've already defeated the need for it. But now you're just like, I already figured it all out. I'm good. So people just don't understand how you can go from 0 to 100. I'm saying it's because you already did the whole climb by yourself. You already understood everything by yourself through your own positive created experiences. First, you make it a little easier, create your own positive experiences, and then don't let them make the experience for you. Don't let them tell you when to experience something, how to do something, when to experience it, the timing of it, what age, the path you have to take, all that stuff. Just go places where you weren't supposed to go first, and then come back or return. And then now you're like, wait a minute. I can do this. You see, like, then you even like, now you might even start making things more challenging. Now you might create more limits for yourself. And you might have more fun with everything because you're like, aha. But before it didn't feel doable, it didn't feel possible because you weren't seeing any results. Because first of all, because you didn't even understand everything. You didn't understand how the mechanics behind it because you were so worried about, I'm not making any progress. Once you understand all the mechanics behind something and how something functions, then all of a sudden, now we can focus on the progress thing. But you guys are going to realize that you actually start paying attention a lot less to it then. Because now you understand the mechanics behind all of this stuff. And once you do, it's like, wow, this is actually really fucking easy. Yeah. So, if salsa can remind me of a crafting system in a video game, what can you guys use to create your own experience? This is really the answer. Just so you guys know, I'm a big proponent of it. I believe that it's powerful. I do think that there's a time and place for it. Now I realize that it just creates a cycle. I didn't really understand that back then in my life. I've done it multiple times now. I'm saying it creates a cycle. It's still powerful. It's something that needs to happen, but the problem is that then after you create the rebellion cycle, you have to then immediately destroy your rebellion cycle and just step away, create your own little box. And just create your own positives. You have to be away from it all. That's really the answer. You just have to be away from it all. And you can see the cycles happening elsewhere, but there's nothing you can do. Because otherwise, if you continue the rebellion cycle, now the thing that you're rebelling against is going to create that response to that, and it's going to create problems. If all of a sudden now they expect that you're going to bump into them and they're ready for war, and you instead are hiding here, they're like, what? 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 You guys get it? And it ruins everything. And because now you don't need anything, you can just survive forever. And then at any point, you see them pass by, you're like, all right, now. Do you guys get it? That's how you all have to do this. That's how we break the world narrative cycle, because then we're not creating their story anymore. We're just adding our own unique sentence day by day to the world narrative. I don't know what my sentence that I'm going to add to the world narrative is tomorrow. It might not even be one. I might wait 3 days and I might add 3 sentences. Do you guys get it? But if they have it set up that all the cycles are happening, that means that tomorrow I'm going to add the intended thing that they wanted me to add. Versus now, I'm not sure what I'm going to add and what I'm going to add again. Do you guys get it? This is the answer. It changes how we operate a story, because if you can operate 80% of a story in one city, last story, and then just randomly go on missions when you choose to, then there's nothing they can do. Because if you have to have a set path and they tell you this is the path, well then, this is fun. This is good. This is a really good detox. This is a really good figure out session. I couldn't piece together if not striving for anything was really bad, just so people understand. I knew that it was the answer, but I started getting a little worried, because I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I want people to realize that I knew that I needed to not feel the need for it, right? Like, I can't feel like I need to get the girl, like the organization, the kid, the pet, because I'm at risk then. But now I'm like, wow, I don't even care at all anymore. Like the feeling to strive toward any of those things, because small steps every day. You guys get it? In your own way. Hey, is myself building a library of this kind of knowledge progress to maybe one day creating an organization? Yeah, absolutely. I'm learning this knowledge and people can see it too. You guys see, like, it doesn't really matter. So you could say, sure, I'll strive, but I'm like, I don't feel like striving toward that at all. I'm okay if I don't have the organization ever. Because when I do these things, do you guys get it? When I create something like this, I know that this is how I would teach and guide people. When I'm playing my games, I'm like, it would be so cool to teach people how to create these experiences and play games like this. It'd be so much fun. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Do you guys get it? Because I don't feel like I had a need. I'm not striving toward it. I can just survive. But I'm doing those things, and when I'm doing those things, I'm getting the release of, like, this is how I would do it. This is how I would do it. Do you guys get it? And it's not escapism if you're creating your own positive experience that you're using. You know why you're doing it. It's just to survive, so that you can write 90% of your story in a little box. Think like you guys are in a little bunker or a secret rebel hideout, and you're just spending all the time there. And then, on your time, on your choosing, you can just go. Boop. So now you know. It's the game. Is this the end of the story? No. Now it's just the story's being, the sentence is being written day by day. See you guys another time.